Dude, my brother.
And we're live. What up?
Beautiful. What's up, dude?
I mean, we finally got some movement.
Yeah, yeah, dude. This all happened. I bought like a butterfly in my PA right before this fucking breakdown over here. Kind of comedy, but
Oh,
what are you
man.
gonna do? Yep. I bought the 40, 45, 50 butterfly on the
Yeah,
SPX, and that is not paying me today.
it's okay. Not gonna always be right.
No, it just looked like a nice little inside day. That distribution was actually looked pretty healthy. So I took it right where the point of control was. So we were right at about, let's see, what was that? 59.40. So I needed a couple points and then a whole bunch of nothing for the last hour. But
Whole lot of nada.
yep, did not get it, which is fine. It was small. It was a basically like two of the butterflies. So it was small risk for a big old payout, about 5 to 1. But that shit is not happening unless we get a weird end of day turnaround.
Yeah, I have done not a whole lot. I mean, well, I played NQ, right? So, I just played my stars, to be quite honest. My
Yep.
scalper tool that I built. So I played this for a scalp. I didn't take anything else until I played this for a small one, and then I actually got short on this last set.
Nice.
And the tape looked like it was kind of changing a little bit. And that's about it. Not a whole lot else.
Well, that's not too shabby, dude. That is
Yeah,
not
I was
too
gonna play
shabby.
gold. I mean, I was looking at gold off of
Mhm.
what you were talking about. I mean, look at the entries here. You could have got off the monthly. Like it was perfect on a 1 minute chart at least.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of tough, man. When you mentioned that, it was like a lot of that move had already happened. So
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
have a hard time chasing because that's when I feel like they, especially coming into the close in the New York session, they like to fucking bamboozle everybody. I'm trying to see. I
I
have a
gotta
nice blue on my.
this tool with you.
Hit me with it.
Um,
What you
I'll
got?
well, it's the one that I was talking to you about. This the VIX indicator that I was working on. I mean, how you would trade it. That I have to do more back testing on. But like understanding the volatility regime that we're in,
Mhm.
pretty helpful so far. Right? Like it doesn't on a day-to-day basis, not much you can really do. It's until like things change. It's much more
Right,
of
right.
like the larger environment. But it also helps from I can just monitor, what it does throughout the day anyway. VIX. So I'll share it with you.
Yeah,
You
shoot
could
it over.
you could fuck around with it and be like, this is great or this is ass.
Nope, I'm sure it'll be nice to look at. We have some folks joining us today. Did you already put this on Twitter and whatnot?
Yeah, we're on. We're live, bro.
Okay, cool.
We're on the Twitter
Very cool.
machine. We are on the
Very
YouTube
cool.
machine. We are on all of it.
Oh,
But
this Rocket Labs just puked out from what is that, about 1 o'clock on? Just gave everything back from the nice move it had.
yeah, I
Yep.
didn't touch it. The one that was the most exciting today was obviously this QBTS.
Hmm.
This is the one that everyone is getting all excited for. But you got to be in it. You could have
Right,
gotten
from
in
the
it today,
morning.
I guess, but you need to be in it overnight.
Hmm.
But the call flow was disgusting yesterday on this. I didn't trade because I was feeling like shit. So I didn't do a whole lot, but monster fucking trade for people that took it.
Yep. Yep. I think somebody called out the Warby Parker before it had that announcement with Google. I don't know who mentioned it, but that thing actually exploded when that announcement came out. And that was from earlier this morning, right? I think Madonna's been trading this a bunch the past few sessions. So
Madonna. My day. I mean, today was so fucking slow, dude. There was nothing to do. It's just super slow. I mean, even from a gamma perspective, there is absolutely nothing. What's most interesting is on the McGilligan note, what they were talking about is we could be back into a vol up, spot up environment, given the fact that everybody now has bought all these fucking calls to chase everything. So the dealers are all short gamma up above, right? Which is again something that is different than what people believe on how gamma works, where they just think it's just you're either in a negative environment or a positive environment. It's not usually true. You get pockets of different things. Of course, like there is a flip line where you're mostly in a positive environment, but if everything above is sold by the market maker, then that's all short gamma. It's the same. So it's the same type of setup where you're in a negative regime where if we start going up, volatility goes up, they're going to be buying the shit. Just keep going up.
Right. Yeah, let me see what the tier 1 guys had this morning. I actually didn't read their email. Just doing some other shit.
What's up, Rondo? Waiting for Mr. Ronchero to join us. And he's not in Kona, so I won't be hating on him. But it's just silence, right? Like today was definitely one of the slower days that we've had in a while. What the fuck?
I mean, yeah, we got, several people in the room trading fucking Moderna with me. That's how slow it was, which, that again, the pain continues in that name for me. It's unfucking real. We're back
Where
to
are we
green.
at on Myrna? Let's see.
27.90 basically. So I'm pretty much flat now on the position. However, this was a client trade, and of course he was on his jet this morning when we got the big pop and all that healthcare, and we were up 220,000. And despite my judgment to close it, I waited on him, and by the time I got a hold of him, we were only up 100. So I wrote some calls against it, which those are looking good. I wrote weeklies, 31.5s and 32s, 500 of each to cover off the position. And those are both premed out about 50, 60%. So, it's by the end of the week, it's not going to be a huge, huge scrape, but it's going to be, add to the pile, right?
So what's your total on it then? Like where have you guys netted out on the position in total?
I mean, right now we're up 20,000, which, last week we were down 400,000. So fucking being up 20 is a lot better than down 400. But it is what it is. He really wants it long term. I think it's a terrible idea. I think I explained this to you guys, and I said I'd stop talking about it. But it's his logic is it's down 85%, and my logic is who gives a shit. The only reason they were up so much is because they were getting government handouts, and that's not happening again. They're not going back to handing out money for COVID, likely ever. Ever's a long time, right? But I don't fucking think we're going back to that. Which makes it a fucking stupid trade, because realistically, the biggest thing in their pipeline is that all-in-one COVID vax, which really doesn't apply to anyone who's not old and unhealthy, which is not most of us. My point being, they're not going to sell 1 million of these fucking things every fucking day. You know what I mean? Just
I get it,
guys.
I get it. Let's see what else is Jay posting. People are closing out Tesla calls, or are they selling them? No, they're closing.
Oh wow, they pulled that thing all the way back too.
It's just a disgusting move. But Elon talked today. He was yapping. So
yeah. Well, and again, his overpromise, under-deliver as usual. I think he really disappointed people. I mean, for those listening, fucking, you guys know my take on this, but the guy's the king of saying we're going to do 1 million things, and then they do 10. And now they came out, and I think the big kicker was they've been saying that this robo-taxi is going to launch in June. I read over the weekend that one of their heads of that department is literally saying that the program's in shambles and there's no way it can launch in June. Now, how true that is, right, to be seen. I think that's something Elon would probably fire the guy over. And I tried to find it on Twitter today, but of course, finding anything on that app is a complete disaster, especially anything that goes against Tesla. Really hard to find. But I'm here in Austin. I don't see any of these cars driving themselves around. I see a lot of Model Ys with little rigs on top. That, to be fair, don't even really look like what the Waymos are running. The Waymos have giant camera, like LiDAR systems on them, which are a complete eyesore. But they don't crash. So I'm very curious, and I'll be the first one to tell you guys if I see Teslas driving themselves around. I'm going to be the first one to tell you that. But Elon said they're going to geofence the programs in safe areas, which what does that even mean? Like what's a safe area in comparison to like city blocks or around the factory? You know what I mean? So that'll be interesting. Traffic here is a mess too, so that's another part of that puzzle.
Oh,
Most big
guys had
cities are.
so many people move in so quickly. The infrastructure was not set up for it.
No, absolutely not.
My brother has the same thing of like out in Greenville. It's like, oh, greatest place to raise. So everyone started moving everything there, and they got no infrastructure for it. Like outside of Greenville is in South Carolina is like, I don't know, kind of not dumpy is not the right word, just old, right? Just old.
Yeah. I mean, Austin's kind of like that, man. There's a lot of places downtown where and I'm pretty close. I mean, I'm, a couple minutes away from the main part of downtown, but like 10 minutes from the Capitol building or so. But they've taken a lot of what were 3-lane and 2-lane roads and thrown in a big bike lane with a divider. So, it slows down traffic. It's no big deal. It's nice for the people commuting on bike and scooter. But that said, with a city where a bunch of people moved in here, it doesn't really help a lot of us getting around. Let's see. And Playoff Rondo's talking about insider. Is that buying then?
Yeah, I think he's talking about your Myrna.
Moderna.
Yeah, I think he's talking about your Myrna.
Let's check this out.
Let's take off the daily and weekly.
Oh, yeah, I see a little bit. Yeah, it looks like the director and CEO bought a little bit back in March. But I mean, shit, I have almost as much as those knuckleheads do together. No, I'm just kidding.
Do they use Coda's closed track from Jeanette there?
You know what, Janetta? I have no idea, but Coda is a really fun track to drive, I will say. Took the R8s out there one day. It was a blast. But no, I don't think they do, at least not from what I've seen. I was out there a few weeks ago for GT Challenge, and there was a few Teslas, but they were customer, people visiting the track. There was nothing out there on the racetrack. It's expensive to get on the track. It's at least as far as I know, a couple years ago, for us to do a private track day was like $50,000, and that includes like stewards and everything to get medical people out there and whatnot. So I can't imagine Tesla would spend that kind of money. And I believe Coda's owned by Red McCombs, and I'm not sure where he's at with Tesla as a whole. If he's buddies with Elon or not. Yep, that is correct. It's Red McCombs is the owner of that. Oh, wow, he passed. I had no idea.
Some more NVIDIA puts. NVIDIA. Meh. And then what about DEC? Uh-oh. Watch out. Here he comes. Here he comes. There he is. He's like, oh, sorry. I had to go eat my lunch. I had lobster tail.
I did not have lobster tail.
Yeah, he did. I know you did. Don't lie to me. You had a fucking nice-ass lobster tail. that was prepared for you. They tucked you in. They gave you a nice napkin for you to do in there. You had golden silverware. Don't lie. It's okay. I'm just jealous. Like, don't take it from me being an asshole. What did you eat for lunch, Ronch?
Here's what I had for lunch. I had
He's like, oh, man, it was a lobster tail. Here you go. Here's some crab legs.
hamachi,
Ooh,
amberjack.
very nice. Very
I
nice.
spent a total of $10.
Yeah, that's not too shabby.
That's how you stay. That's how you stay rich, folks.
And I used wooden chopsticks. No gold.
Not gold plated. Oh, that's funny. All right, I'll be right back. You guys hold it down.
Where are you going?
I need to go get my sushi.
Smid, what do you got going?
Oh, nothing, dude. Finally got a turnaround in that Moderna, so we're in the green there. Dude,
Whew.
pain trade. Actually was able to write some calls against it. So wrote the weekly 31.5s on half of it and 32s on the other half. And other than that, not a whole lot. I trimmed the UNH shares, took a $40,000 loss on that. I still have the August 85s. And before that loss, I had most of the position paid for. I think about half of it's paid for now from the commons. So I'm pretty happy with that. Got some time in those. And it's really just a bounce play, right? So
Yeah. What's your time frame on that?
I mean, honestly, I would like to see this make a move back towards 342, and that's just the that May 13th kind of top of the range there where it gapped down to, which coincides with the VWAP from the highs of 2025.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of so those you got those 2 points of confluence. If I get there, I'm probably just going to take the money and run.
Okay.
And other than that, holding some Rocket Lab from last week, and we are adding. And as I'm talking, my client is over there trading from his phone wherever he's at in the world. But we're adding a long-term position in what's called Aries Strategic Mining. So we have 1.5 million shares, basically. They specialize in fluorospar, which is like a critical mineral for a bunch of production. I'm doing research on the company right now. It's a Canadian stock. They have plans to try and join and get listed on the NYSE or the NASDAQ. We'll see. But it's a super small cap.
Heard that pitch, a Canadian mining company moving to a U.S. traded exchange, I'd have a lot of dollars.
Yeah, well, I really fought against this initially, and at a certain point, I'm like, you know what? Pick how much money you want to lose. If you want to throw $1 million at this, and you're content with losing $1 million, perfect. So whatever. It was kind of fun, So I spent most of yesterday learning about this, what the mineral is, what we use it for, what the company actually does, and it's a flyer. I would love to see it squeeze to $10 fucking, and then I'll cash out for the year. So, but I'm putting my odds on that happening at sub 1%. So, it's one of those. This is another position where I kind of can't stop the dude. You get the tap on the shoulder, and he says buy 2 million shares, and I was able to buy 1.3 million without moving price, which really tells me that there's a fat fucking seller on the tape who's letting me take all those shares off his hands.
Mm-hmm.
So again, doesn't matter how many times I tell him hey, this is what happens. I tried this morning with Moderna. That was again that was one of his trades, right? So that's the only reason I didn't book when we were up 200,000 is because I can't get a hold of him, and that's part of the agreement. So trying to explain to him how Moderna trades, he just doesn't care. He gets caught up in the narrative, and it's like, look, dude, I've watched this thing every day for 3 weeks. They've sold every fucking move up that we've had. There's a high probability they do it again, and nobody wants to be a told you so ass, but I fucking told you so, buddy.
You can say it to him. You just can't say it in the room.
Oh no, I had to chime in and throw that in there a little bit, but I said toe to sew. Nobody likes a toe to sew. Just out of a little bit of joking and poking there. But yeah, so we're kind of moving back. We've scraped back 700,000 of the 2.6 million that we were down. So we're down 1.9. So we're making progress. We're moving in the right direction.
There you go.
Back to getting out of the hole. So it's a good start to the week, I guess I will say.
Way to timely call out on puts in the Ocho today.
Would you call out Ronch puts on the index?
MJ. We talked about reshorting Qs. So that worked out.
Today was a tough day to really do anything. You just had to have a lot of patience.
It was an inside day, right? Like yesterday had your inside yesterday's price range and you're chopping. So I'm only looking for when you catch something at an extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I'm going to send you a bark trainer collar because I'm getting one for my guy over here.
They're honestly really good at not barking. It's just when we get people that are around outside, any other dog, and that's it. It's just like they see a dog, or if someone comes onto the property, they bark. That's why I need to move into the middle of nowhere, so I don't have to worry about this.
So I don't have to listen to them.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to do anyway. Like I'm not far enough. I'm not yapping or far enough out in the outskirts despite being near cornfields. Oh yeah, I gotta drop a link for people in the room. I mean, the most action we had today on the indexes was this little poll that they're about to retrace the whole thing on. But there's been some good individual names. We were talking about QBTS this morning, Ronch.
Yeah, I mentioned that on the show this morning as well. I don't know enough about quantum computing other than to see unusual option activity and if there's a trade. And it has been a good trade. What do you know about it long term, Joe?
That I need to catch news on it, and that's how I get paid. Honestly, like these quantum names, I'm just being honest. I don't sit there and overanalyze or reread all this shit. That's just not my game, right?
Yep.
I see a shit ton of flow. Like here, I'll pull it up what I posted today on Twitter for everybody. But this is what I care about. Now, there are certain names where I'll go and be like, all right, if I'm researching for a long-term like investment portfolio, that's a different egg, right? It's a totally different beast. But look at this shit. That's what I posted earlier, right? And look at this. Look at all these sweepers on this.
Yeah.
Look at that shit. That's call sweepers all day.
Yep, that's an opportunity.
Right? All day they just smoked the freaking bit out of all of this. I think that's actually doubled up, but oh well. Like it's just nuts. You see enough of that activity like that, and I would assume there's an announcement following. And then especially when Jay actually calls it out and says, hey, this is the best looking of the bunch, which he doesn't do very often, then I'm like, okay. Let's pay extra special, attention to it, and just buy some calls and see what happens.
What did you buy?
So yesterday I wasn't around to trade any of this stuff, so I didn't buy anything, which sucks. Like just full transparency. But this would be something where if I was around yesterday and I saw all that, I mean, even if this was a loser today, I probably still would have bought some. All right, we're getting a little bid here, a little program buying in Bitcoin, healthcare, financials, futures, and a little selling in vol products.
Did you guys already cover the questions and comments
Yeah, but if you want to add to it, go for it.
Um,
We're talking about Myrna, and then the only one we didn't cover was NVIDIA with Dr. Barry.
somebody asked me about NVIDIA, I think it might have been yesterday, and it's had a nice run up. I think it's still stuck in that range of, like 140 to 98, and there's some extreme.
Ah, there's Ronch. Right there he is. Or is that Smiddy?
That's Smiddy.
That's Smiddy. Oh, we should rename this to the dog barking live
My guy's
stream.
right here. Pick his head up off the carpet. He's like, "What? I didn't do anything." I think NVIDIA at some point, I don't know when, I think at some point it breaks out of this range that it's been trading in since this dates back to what, like a year ago. I think eventually it breaks out and continues to go higher. I just don't know when that is, and I don't know what the catalyst is. I just think that they're the best positioned in the space. That could be wrong. But I think that this run up into earnings short term might trap some people long who are thinking this is it, this is the breakout. That's how it's gone before. Doesn't mean it'll happen again.
Smitty, have you touched NVIDIA at all recently? Has that even been on your radar?
No, not really, man. This has not been a name I've traded a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a year of sideways, so I've just had it in my long-term account and that's it.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I even took this for like a day trade.
I mean,
I feel like I have a shit record on trading NVIDIA, and so there are certain names like that I just don't touch. When I'm like, all right, this is just not the one for me, and I kind of just put it to the side and keep an eye on it.
I can tell you the last time I traded NVIDIA. When did it split? The 10-to-1 split was in June. The last time I traded it was around the split, before the split. Think about the range that you're talking about, Ronch. Post split, the low was $90 with a high of 150, but most of those dumps were on some type of news catalyst event. And now you're just doing a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. Range bound.
That's it. But that's most shit right now. I just spilt something with red dye on my mouse pad, and it's never a good thing. We were close to the levels in February when the DeepSeek news came out. Playoff rondo. On NVIDIA, I'm assuming. You really didn't miss much, Ronch, being out last week. You really didn't miss much at all, to be honest.
I think I was going to. And as we get further into the summer, listen, there are trades every single day. And if your game is scalping, there's something here for you every day.
Yep.
And you can be long-term and go away and still do well and keep an eye on stuff. You don't have to scalp every day. But I don't know that we're going to get a ton of stuff as we limp our way into summer. June would be rate cuts, right? And when is that? So everybody's betting on June rate cuts. When is that?
Let's take a look. June 18th is the next Fed meeting. Let's see what the probabilities are. Oh boy. Here's your new probabilities from the CME. I haven't checked this. We are at a 94% chance of no change,
which could make this a very dry summer.
And it was a month ago, it was a 65% chance of a rate cut.
And then the 90-day extension or the 90-day window on tariffs How long is that?
Good question. 90
Does that
day
go to, like,
tariff day.
August?
I think it goes in August or late July. Let's see.
So Joe, you're telling me the Fed rate will be UNC?
Fed rate on.
Who
Like your
would have
name.
guessed?
I still can't believe you were able to get that name. But nobody
That's
else
'cause
like had it.
Who gives a shit about the Fed rate?
Everyone,
feel like
okay?
Back when I made this, though, nobody cared. I was listening
know,
to
I
Jeff
know.
Snyder talk about it, for 4 days out of 5 days a week. Dude was talking about the Fed rate, and that shit never changed. And so I thought, it'll be funny, and that's what I picked. And now it's been the soup du jour for quite some time.
Soup du jour.
Yes. But something else that's interesting, if anyone's playing along, the Bitcoin is kind of slowly looking pretty constructive, creeping towards all-time highs. Of course, Saylor's been buying, so you always have the Hunt brother himself scooping up more Bitcoin. But I'm seeing more and more companies considering adding this to the balance sheet. Over the weekend, there was another Japanese company adding, I think, 100 million worth, which isn't a lot, but at the same time, you get a handful of folks doing that, and it starts to push price.
Oh wow! I didn't even check my silver position today. Huh.
Yeah, silver and platinum
Very nice.
doing very well. Yeah, platinum up 5%. Mr. J just posted.
Yeah, so I saw them talking about it. I'm like, wait, I haven't even this because this is a year. This is a much longer place.
This
I'm
is
not
just
really
a
gonna
hard
watch
trade, though, right? I mean,
yeah, I'm sitting in this for years now.
Silver
Ronch.
has always been a difficult trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit in this for a while.
I
We're
buy
just
physical
dabbling.
silver. I'm one of those guys.
Yeah,
I
listen.
actually,
Okay, not
stack
all of
that
us
up.
have big old fucking vaults that can hold all this precious metal of yours.
Right.
Okay, some of us have to buy shitty ETFs. Okay,
now we know who has the gold and silverware, Joe.
This fucking dude, of course, he's tied to gold people.
What can I say? I watched or listened to a great little series that George Gammon did from Rebel Capitalist, and he and his assistant went down. He's an expat. I think he's down in Colombia now, like Medellin. And they went around and tried to actually just exist on gold. They had bullion and coin, and they found it extremely difficult. And so something that I think is interesting is a lot of folks who hoard gold and silver are like, oh, when shit hits the fan. Well, I'm a big believer in when shit hits the fan, you're going to want more brass in your safe than gold and silver, because the guy with a bigger gun takes it every time.
Yeah.
So that's the theory on that one. But that said, if you actually need to go buy any goods or services in a situation where there's power outage, whatever, what are you going to do with a gold coin? Single gold coins, you buying $3,000 of rice? Are you going to use your horse out back to carry that shit with you? You know what I mean?
Yes, I am.
And then you're at the risk of, okay, so now you're having to clip a coin to, pay for something. And the guy you're buying from is just going to shoot you and take your whole coin. Problem solved. So in the shit hits the fan scenario, I think silver is actually the better piece. But as we've spoken a bunch over the years about this, as Ronch always says, like, just take me out, man. The nukes go off. I don't think I want to be around for this shit.
True. Yeah, that's like what you're talking about is like end of days currency.
Right.
So if you believe end of days are coming, and what makes you think you're actually going to survive that? Even the guys who are preppers.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know. If a nuclear war breaks out,
right,
there are going to be very limited survivors. And it probably won't even be like a society that bargains on gold, right? It'll probably be like, do you have food or water? Maybe some medicine? It'll probably be that.
Exactly. And it's going to be or somewhere up in the mountains of Peru or some shit like that doesn't get touched. Those guys will be nice and happy. I'd be completely oblivious.
I think New Zealand is probably the the one place that has a chance to survive if shit like that goes down.
Right. Our good old Kiwi friends.
Baby Buddy Songs asking a really important question here, guys. He says, who the herb that's going to do a little sucky in exchange for food? That is the hard-hitting question that we need to answer.
Yep. That is the value we provide.
That's the type of stuff that, that's why we get paid the big bucks. I could tell you it's probably Smiddy, but don't quote me on it. Okay? All right.
Not the end of days, end of the dollar days.
If Myrna didn't make the comeback, I might have had to fly down there to take care of him.
Oh, Brown Man. I was gonna say Madonna too. That's two votes. It's gonna be Madonna.
Right? That's what I said. It's gotta be Madonna.
Poor dude's getting thrown under the bus.
Ronch, I think there's a question from LNY.
Yeah,
Is that
not the end of days, end of the dollar days. I don't know if that's reserve currency is reserve currency until it's not. And then typically it's another country's currency that takes over, right? I mean, that repeats itself. So do you guys think it would go to a global commodity as the standard for monetary pricing around the world? I think that that's kind of far-fetched.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what currency right now has the opportunity to be the world's reserve currency. I don't think it's China. I think China's got more problems than they're willing to admit. And I don't think that they have the demographics or the industry to make that happen. Keep buying gold, Smiddy.
Oh, we will. Don't you worry. Someone posted in there. Jay posted in the room. ECB warning of potential gold squeeze.
There you go.
Yep, I can see it.
How close are we to your long-term target for the year?
Me on gold?
Did we already hit it?
Yeah, my target was 3,300. And
yeah, I thought your stretch target was 35, and we touched that too.
Dude, my stretch really from the start of the year, my stretch was 33. I thought there was we weren't going to hit that because look, we came from, we were 27 back in January. So 3,000 was kind of the that was the nice round psychological target. We got there, a little pullback, and then just continued on. We really ran on a daily from April to, through April. We ran up $500 in gold. It's kind of unprecedented.
Yeah, I mean, look at this move. Just disgusting. $500 is crazy. And the funnier part is your guy, when he wanted to pile in, he couldn't have picked the worst time to buy gold. And he ended up being right. The timing was off.
Yeah, but that's been our whole problem,
Yeah.
He has these moments where he just decent idea at the worst time. I mean, Moderna was the same thing. It would have been a decent idea had we waited to 23. Today would have been, a gift. But that's our predicament. And unfortunately, a lot of that comes from doing the opposite of what we do here, which is he's watching CNBC and, the clown Kramer and taking their word for it. And he doesn't realize that those, their business is selling advertisements, not making their, clientele money. Or not clientele necessarily, but they're watchers of the channel, right?
Yeah, they don't
selling them ads.
It's advertising dollars what they care about.
Yep. So, which is ironic because he's a big advertising guy. That's how he's made his money with his company over these years, and he falls right for it, hook, line, and sinker. Which is almost the irony and the misery loves company moment of well, of course you fall for it. That's what pays you every day. So all I can do is laugh and risk manage the best I can. But that said, you know, that guy also sits on a pretty hefty pile of physical. So he's happy. And I think he was buying that back around 2,500, if I'm not mistaken. That was a couple of years ago that he bought like a pile that sits in a vault. So you know, he's doing all right.
I mean, what is mocking it? I'm looking at the gold. So after the close today, we got gold futures, or not gold futures, Pan W, Pelosi special.
Oh, nice.
And I don't really think anybody else that I care about. Toll Brothers. Yeah, I don't really care about anybody else. But I care about this gold and whether or not I'm gonna mess with it right now.
Take a shot.
Do some
Yeah,
chasing.
you guys.
I'm tempted as well.
Do some chasing on this thing because they might just run this shit into the bell.
Yep.
It does look like it. I mean that. So we're back above the VWAP from all-time high, which was kind of the line in the sand that I've been looking for. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a quick retest overnight of that, which is 3270 about on the futures. Granted, if you guys are playing GLD, you'll probably want to take that shot now. But I think it looks good. I think these sellers are tired. And China's still a buyer, which is good. You want to see that.
They're still buying this and they're buying Bitcoin right now. That's where the programs are at. Let's see Bitcoin. Oh boy, Bitcoin is moving.
Yeah, I think we're getting ready for the crack of all-time highs, which we'll see. There's a couple big traders in the crypto world who are two guys who are long over $1 billion they are $1 billion in the open interest right now. Yeah, dude,
are they on perps? Are they playing perps right now?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. What are they? What's their leverage?
One guy I know is 40x. I'm not sure about the other player. I just saw this, but yeah, it's still, you know, he's got.
The fuckers are gonna make so much money, dude.
Yeah, he was up 18 million yesterday from his over the weekend buy. A measly 18 million. So you know, not a bad weekend if you ask me. But
that's the hard part about the crypto, Smiddy. Like, I know you and I used to do a lot of the degen shit back in the day, but like when you hear that type of stuff, it makes me sit here and be like, I kind of want to fuck around again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like some of this stuff is just the way that it moves is nutty.
Yep. I've been watching a couple of little meme coins that are catching a little bit of a bid over there. One of them,
yeah, like we talked about Pepe. I mean, look at this, the stupid Pepe coin. I mean, look at this garbage. It's a 40%. Look at this shit.
Look at this shit, man.
Crazy. Call me a Pepe. Anyways.
So have you guys one that I've been keeping an eye on just because I feel like a herb for missing it? CrowdStrike, after it had that, you know, whole debacle. What was that back in last summer? Set some new highs after that and is almost back to those fresh highs, trading 440 again. It's kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a heck of a move.
Mm-hmm.
In CrowdStrike?
Mock.
Yep.
Mock. Now they're just buying more gold.
I threw down on some.
But so you playing the futures or you buy GLD?
I bought fuck the futures. I bought GLD. I bought 523 304s for $2.58.
I like it.
MJ on it right now for the day is the Rio 387.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, can you imagine they ripped this up to there?
Do it.
Mock looks like it's what, 200 million to the sell side?
Where's our meter? Well, that'll spur gold too, won't it?
Yeah, that's a pretty shitty mock. But I think a lot of the dry powder now has been used even by the structural shit, like all the CTAs and vol control funds. I don't know if this week they have as much. I'll find out from Jay, but I know a lot of their dry powder was used up. The hard part too for even this is with all this slow shit, there's been really no like gamma pinning since OPEX to even like fuck around with end of day, which is what I usually like to do.
It's just so gappy.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to guess, what was the high there? 59.40 is the highest strike of gamma right now. Yeah, 59.40. Boring. I mean, just an just that's nothing. What NQ went up what on mock? Like 40 points. Boo.
Boo.
Boo. Give me back my volatility. They're selling more vol products here though.
Ball products.
Looks like couple small programs and semis.
Oh, look at this. My little 40, 45, 50 SPX butterflies starting to turn positive. See if they can.
What did you center it around?
45. 59, 45. So still need a nice chunk for this to actually mean anything here, but 10 more points.
I mean, your current gamma pin, if you get it, is 40. If it gets above that, then it's got room. But I don't think you're getting enough buying to do anything.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was a little preemptive on that thing. But at the time, it was a pretty balanced day, so it looked like we might get a whole lot on nothing. And
that's basically what we did. I mean, outside of the
Yeah.
last, hour from 1 to 2, I mean, we basically retraced the entire move down. Gonna finish a little bit lower, snap the winning streak. There's your 255 or 355 algo. Run it up. You're gonna close it, or are you riding it into the close?
I was just thinking that. I'm up about 50%. I could just take the money and run, as I probably should.
The premiums are just gonna start moving like a motherfucker here.
Right.
And that decay is gonna be nutty. But you do you, bro.
I'll get the order pulled up here just in case. We'll see what happens.
No, do you market out of that?
Oh yeah, so I get shitty fills.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the other kicker. If you're up 50, your fill might screw you regardless.
Yeah. Might just let it sunset here and see what happens. It was pretty small. It was only 2, so 2 butterflies, not too crazy.
What do you play if you want to play Palladium? Either of you guys played Palladium?
No.
I don't think that we have. I have Platinum Futures. Let me switch the account. Yeah,
I know what you could
Platinum
do.
Futures.
I know you could play futures on Palladium, but I didn't know if there was a ETF for it. There's probably one. I just gotta look. Look at me getting into all these fucking metal names.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the danger.
That's the sad part. That's how you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Palladium.
How bored are you? Oh, I bought Palladium today.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's a market where you're actually hedging something. You're not just getting you don't want just price exposure. But
Right.
the futures are expensive, man. It's on at least Thinkorswim. It's 27,000 in margin, and there is not a ton of volume on these. I mean, you've got 1 month.
Bro.
1 month, the active month is 9,000 contracts for the day. So I mean, enough, enough to play around for sure. Especially if you're not getting real crazy.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Probably not the feuds, but something else. Man, they are ripping Bitcoin right now. It's just been straight buy programs.
There is a big sweep in MSTL. What was it?
Is that the double, the 2 times MSTR?
Just recently? Or was this earlier?
Today.
Well, they got paid.
Yep.
I'm just gonna pin this shit here. Okay, Trump tweeted out something. We must maintain our status as the worldwide leader in Wi-Fi, 5G, and 6G.
What a her.
Bunch of other shit that he said that doesn't matter. Go buy your Verizon stock. Man. I mean, by the way that this looks, you could get Bitcoin all-time highs tonight. We're not far off of it. That's typically what they do anyway. They'll just gun it when it's got some Momo. They'll gun it and rip everyone's head off. Jeff also says PALL. That's the Palladium name. Yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Oh boy, look at that ugliness. Yep, I'll pass. Never mind. I felt the slap from Ronchero or just across my face just now. I felt it. Looking at, he's like, all right, at least you check the chart first and realize, nope, we're good.
What do you think this like? All right, so gold. You think gold squeezes above its highs?
Smid dog.
I mean, look, we're not too far off. We're not too far off. It's
highs are 3,500.
It's about 5%. So I think it would take a couple days, but this can. I mean, it can happen in 2 days.
Oh,
yeah, so
Smid's trying to get out of his position.
6%. No, I'm just kind of letting this be for now. I might just let this do its thing into the close.
You're getting your squeeze, dude. You're getting it right now.
I've got the ticket pulled up. If I need to, I'll blast that. But no, I think a couple days. I think you got a couple days here, and it could happen. I might jump in there with a few hundred contracts, honestly, and see if we can't squeeze a little more of the gold lemon. It's been a good one for us this year. Help push your guys' GLD up a little bit.
Well, dang, Smid. I mean, at least you're. I mean, it might have worked out. All things considered.
It's flat now. So what we got? We just hit the close. I mean, I'm literally flat. I'm at full blown flat right here on the position. So I'm not sure how this is going to settle cash.
Yeah, you're cash settled, right? So you're gonna see what they're going to pay you out on it. Nice squeeze to get you paid, though. I mean, it was just a good. Be in all honesty, given the way the day was, today was a sell the premium on both sides day. We've had that quite a bit.
Yeah, that's clearly that is like the pattern, or not the pattern, but it's the behavior of an inside day.
Yeah. All right, where did we end up on the spread? 1.62. Ugh. All right, so Trump and Pete Hegseth are about to make an announcement soon.
Oh boy, here we go.
I am gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up futures here on the top, And I'm going to pull up Pan W on the bottom here because I want to see.
It's not even a mean, menacing bark.
No, she thinks she's menacing, but she's not.
You'd be amazed at how many little dogs like that try to come up and fight my giant German Shepherds, and they always think they're going to win that battle, which makes me laugh.
Dude.
The only danger with that, Smitty, is that if your dogs are like, I've had enough of this little one, and they pick it up and shake it dead, you got a problem with your hands.
All right.
Then I'm sticking them on the owner after that, Ronch. Come on now. I'm going to clean shop. No one's getting away at that point. No, they're pretty good. They're both on shock collars, and we walk off leash pretty much all the time. So the rule is if other dogs are off leash, then they're good. If other dogs are on leash, we stay away. And that seems to be that's
a bad mix, right? Dog on a leash, dog off a leash. That never goes well.
Yeah, exactly. But it's tough around here with all these hippie nerds. Everyone wants their dog off leash, so the whole neighborhood park up the way is that's kind of how it goes.
Well, sad to say, Smith, you've got a bunch of Bay Area people who left for Austin. I think you got some Denver people from down there. Like you got a lot of dog people, and I think a lot of them are, like you said, hippies.
So, yeah. Honestly, they're pretty nice. My wife's pretty quick.
No, I'm not saying they're mean. I'm just saying they're.
Oh no, you should see. I mean, we're from the Midwest as well, but you've never seen a lady so quick to bitch at somebody as my wife when it comes to the dogs. She's probably had like 7 or 8 run-ins with the neighbors where she'll be like, "Get your fucking dog, dumbass," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Didn't know that was coming. She's spicy, that one. Joe's heard her.
Take-Two Interactive announces proposed public offering of common stock.
Ooh, that can't be good.
They don't like it. What was the name that we were talking about earlier today, Ronch, about Golden Dome?
It's an AMTM or something like that.
AMTM. It was AMTM.
Okay.
That's what I think he's yapping about right now. Oh, Bruce is back. Bruce is here just to tell you that your Myrna position was not as bad as you thought it was.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We let a bunch of the P&L today run through the old sand in a sieve moment. So disappointing, but sold calls. So got a little hedge on. I'm going to scrape premium, and I'll keep doing that for as long as my client wants to hold this. I think, it's a lot easier to write calls on the upside when you're in the green. That way you don't feel bad when it gets called. A little harder when you're underwater. Because I looked yesterday at selling the 28s, and it was, it wouldn't have been much. And at this point, I'd be kind of sweating because I'd be almost getting called for, to make $20,000. So, I'll take it for now. I got some padding up to 31.5, 32. And if they take them there, then that'll be a nice hit.
All right, I got a little gold overnight. See what happens.
Pan W earnings are out. Don't look like they like it so far.
All right, guys, I'm going to dip. I got a little jet lag to catch up on.
Sounds
Yes,
good.
sir.
Yeah, I'm about to kill the stream anyway. Thank you everybody for watching. Today was a slow day, so wasn't really much for us to do, but we'll catch you when we get some more volatility.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Later, everybody.
Later.